Chapter 2, The Address, Question Answers from Class 11, Subject English Book Snapshots. Reading with Insight, Question 1. Have you come back? Said the woman. I thought that no one had come back. Does this statement give some clue about the story? If yes, what is it? Answer. Yes, this statement gives a very important clue about the story. It shows that the narrator and her family were victims of the war, likely Jews, who had been forced to leave their home. Mrs. Darling had assumed that none of them had survived or returned after the war. This brief statement reveals the tragic impact of war and the idea that many people were lost or displaced. It sets the tone of the story, which is about loss, survival, and the painful return to a life that no longer exists. Second, the story is divided into pre-war and post-war times. What hardships do you think the girl underwent during these times? Answer. During the pre-war period, the girl experienced anxiety and confusion as she saw her home being emptied slowly by Mrs. Darling. Her mother allowed Mrs. Darling to take away their valuable items to keep them safe, but the narrator was not comfortable with this. There was a growing fear of what might happen during the war. In the post war period, the girl suffered the emotional pain of loss, the loss of her mother, her home, and her past life. She was alone and trying to rebuild her life in a new place. When she returned to collect her mother's belongings, she found them in a stranger's house, stripped of their emotional value. She also had to deal with rejection and indifference from people like Mrs. Darling, which made the process even harder. These hardships highlight the trauma and disconnection faced by war survivors. Third, why did the narrator of the story want to forget the address? Answer. The narrator wanted to forget the address because it only reminded her of a painful past that could not be restored. Although the belongings in Mrs. Darling's house were once part of her happy home, they had lost all emotional meaning. In a new and strange environment, they looked out of place and even unpleasant. Seeing them used by others made the narrator feel alienated. She realized that material objects could not bring back her loved ones or her old life. Letting go of the past was necessary for her to heal and move forward. So she decided to forget the address completely. Fourth, the address is a story of human predicament that follows war. Comment. Answer. The address truly highlights the human predicament, the confusion, loss, and emotional trauma people face after war. The story doesn't just focus on physical destruction but shows how people are emotionally displaced, struggling to find meaning and stability again. The narrator represents the many survivors who return to nothing, their homes, families, and identities are gone. Even the familiar things lose their comfort when seen in a different setting. The narrator's emotional conflict about reclaiming the past shows how war changes everything, even people's connections to their own memories. The story sensitively shows that the real loss in war is not just of life or property, but of belonging and emotional security. It captures the painful reality of trying to restart life with scars that run deep. So friends, we have completed all these question answers from chapter 2, the address. We have already studied the summary of this chapter. You can find the link in the description and on the screen. If you like the video, kindly like it and share it with your friends. Also subscribe to my channel. We will meet in the next video. Thank you for watching.